Hi everyone, I'm the Canadian lad, and today's video is about this huge mistake in Avengers Endgame where we saw Giant Man pushing one of the Leviathans into a portal. Now Giant Man was not supposed to be there because he had already turned himself into his regular version, if I may call it that, in an earlier scene. So Scott Lang was already in the van with Hope. He was fixing the van that got damaged during the final battle. So if Scott Lang is here dealing with the van, then how come Giant Man show up in the next scene? Of course, it's a continuity mistake from the VFX department at Marvel. But what if I tell you a reshoot is the main reason behind this huge mistake? So stick around till the end and I will explain everything. Let's begin. First and foremost, let's take a look at the scenes and then I will explain.
Hold on! That wasn't our only time machine.
Scott, how long you need to get that thing working?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Get it started. We'll get the stones to you.
What?
It's dead. I have to hotwire it.
So as I mentioned, Giant Man was not supposed to be there because by that time Scott Lang was already in the van trying to hotwire it. So how come the creators of Endgame just didn't notice this mistake? They have also ignored the part where Cap's shield is no longer broken when all the Avengers were coming through the portal. But that's a really small detail and I totally understand why they didn't go back and fix it. But what about this scene? It's quite visible that it's a mistake. Why not fix it then? But before I tell you why they didn't fix it, let me tell you how it might have happened in the first place. It's because a significant scene with a duration of more than 2 minutes was cut from the final version of Endgame. That scene is called The Trench, where all the Avengers team up together, have a few dialogues and make a plan about what to do next in the battle. But it was eventually removed because it didn't feel too natural for all the heroes teaming up together in one place while Thanos is already charging at them. So they cut this scene from the movie. But here is what happened. In this deleted scene, Peter Quill asked Doctor Strange if he could open a portal between them and the van so they can get to the van faster without having to fight any of Thanos' army. But Doctor Strange replies, the portal works both ways. There will be 500 of those things in here before we even step through. So opening the portal over to the van was never an option. And hearing this, Captain America asks Black Panther, can we run it? Because in Infinity War, we've seen just how fast this two can run. So Cap wanted him and Black Panther both running with the gauntlet towards the van together. So Hawkeye handed over the gauntlet and then Cap and Black Panther both started running towards the van. And that's the end of the scene. But this entire thing that I just described to you has been cut from the film by the Russo brothers because it felt a bit too unnatural. Anyway, so when they decided to cut this scene, they had to reshoot all of it with a different version which we saw in the movie. That means Black Panther asking Hawkeye to give him the gauntlet and him running with the gauntlet are all reshoots. In fact, I can show you exactly when they stopped using reshot footage. Notice when Wanda makes her entrance and Black Panther is behind her, this is not a reshot footage because in the background there are two of Thanos' ships which perfectly matches up with the rest of the movie. But the scene where we found the mistake has none of Thanos' ships in the background. Instead it shows Giant Man pushing a Leviathan into a portal because this is a reshot footage and the VFX department that worked on this particular scene just couldn't match the background with the rest of the film. So here's what I'm trying to say. If they didn't have to reshoot this entire thing, we wouldn't have seen this mistake. And that's how movie mistakes happen. With a lot of scenes getting reshot, it's really hard to continue the flow with the rest of the film. I'll give you another example. Majority of Marvel fans know that Robert Downey Jr. had to reshoot his famous I am Iron Man scene in Endgame because in the original scene he doesn't say I am Iron Man and you can clearly see the differences between the original and reshoot. Robert Downey Jr.'s hair is slightly better combed in the reshot footage and there was some extra blood on his forehead that wasn't there in the original scene. So you may ask, how did Marvel put these two scenes together? Simple, they added Thanos in between. I'll play it for you and you will know what I'm talking about. And that's how movie makers can create such effortless transitions between different scenes by simply switching the focus. And also some might say it was Bill Foster or Hope or even go as far as saying it was Hank Pym himself. But I don't buy that theory. To me, it was just an honest mistake. Now that I explained all of this, you will now understand why we see such mistakes in movies and why we will continue to see such mistakes in the future. My point is, as long as it doesn't create any plot holes in a film, I will not complain. Because at the end of the day, movies are made by people, and people are not perfect. With that, I'll end this very unusual video that I normally don't make or talk about because I mainly focus on amazing details of a film rather than finding out mistakes. Anyway, if you like this video, please grab the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. I will see you lads in the next one.